How many beds have you been in today? Might be back and forth.
If you do it from there, my depth of field is really shallow, so because the light in here, but it'll be pretty. Like if you scoot closer, you can have split the difference.
I'm rubbing them all over his legs to try to work on.
I know.
I remember the first time I went to Paris as a filmmaker and walking down the street. I was there for a festival and seeing it differently. As a filmmaker, you see things differently, you frame things, you start looking at things visually, and I mean, you would turn to your right and it would be a great frame. You turn to your left. I mean, everywhere in Paris, there just wasn't a bad frame. So when we discussed about For Lovers Only, naturally it's a filmmaker's dream to shoot there. When it came to picking Paris, the best city of light, it's a city that's lit perfectly for us, and everything I've ever done is about how to look at things and visually how light falls into a city, and that seemed to be the best city for the setting of a script that Mark and I were talking about. And we wanted to shoot it on a lesser format, less than 35, 16, maybe 8 millimeter. And go over there and really shoot this kind of movie that really, was inspired from the Claude Lelouch movie, A Man and a Woman. We'd seen that when we were younger, and just take that inspiration and build off of that and make a story about two people being in love rather than falling in love. We wanted to really capture that essence of feeling the intimacy between two people and what that really, really felt like. The spaces between the words, not so much talking. It was, we wanted to do a love story that was probably, if you could compare it to a song, was more classical, less words than maybe a pop song with that kind of telling you how you feel. We wanted you to sit in the moment and really be with these two characters, and it was going to survive, and the film had to survive on that particular idea.
I think this is the stuff that you fill the film in with. It's so cool.
These moments, this stuff.
Yeah. Just
because it says it.
Yeah.
Like it's the imagery that says it. When you look at a Monet painting, or when you look at an Impressionist's paintings, it's not the clear-cut kind of form of the painting. What it is, it's the feeling of that moment and that space and that object. And it's almost like a memory, of it. It is almost an echo of what it means to be in love and to be freely in love.
It goes back to any form of art. It's like Pablo Picasso, one of the masters of the modernist movement, abstract painting. Before he started painting in an abstract form, he learned the rules. You look at the work that the Polish brothers have produced before this, and it's very, very accomplished, very, very structured. So I think that's why this film worked, even though it could have appeared to have been a little haphazard in the approach. It wasn't at all.
Everything we would do would enhance this from being black and white to taking the style, the New Wave, French New Wave style, which allowed us to hide a lot of the flaws, or a lot of the run and gun style, a lot of problems run and gun style creates for storytelling. We felt that French New Wave would help us kind of smooth over those if there was any kind of jagged edges, or make your mistakes your style in a sense.
We always had that one thing where we'd have to go, okay guys, wait a minute, we don't want to think literally here. Don't think in film literal terms, because it's French New Wave. We don't have to do anything we don't want to do. We can, and how many times did we just use outtakes? I mean, think about it. I mean, there are outtakes in here, but they're not outtakes. That's the thing about French New Wave. There are no outtakes. That's the beauty of it. There's no outtakes. Yeah. The whole film's an outtake.
You got it?
No, hold on. If you keep moving, I'm not gonna get you in focus.
Okay, I'm staying still right now. I'm like a statue.
We can do our scene now.
Because of the nature of the French New Wave, it was allowing us to condense time or elongate things or suspend a lot of situations that might come back together, like going to the church, then going to the hotel, going to get lunch, going to get tea. We were able to jump cut quite a bit, which was a style that the French New Wave introduced, and the ability to tell a story in a certain way and in a certain amount of time.
This French New Wave style is, for me, it's, it's unbounding. It doesn't tie you to any framework, so to speak. There are no rules. You can pretty much express yourself any way you like. The filmmakers, the editors, the DPs, the actors. I mean, there's just like, and that's what happened here. They acted in a French New Wave style, and and because of the fact that Mark had allowed for so much when he wrote the script, he allowed for so many possibilities and improvisation technique and things like that.
I just want to know, because I get caught up in that right there for some reason.
It's good.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Uh-huh.
It's cute.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay. Are you getting Mark? Because I can barely hear it.
Yeah, we're
I'll speak it once more, just to short break.
The day before we left, it was me, Mark, and Mike sitting in Mike's living room, packing up the bags, packing up the gear, and saying, all right, from the minute we get there, we don't know what to expect. At that point, we didn't even have the script yet. We had a treatment, and we said that we were going to just figure it out. Mark was writing the script at that time, and he was just writing the scenes basically as, okay, this happens in an alleyway, this happens in a hotel, this happens in a church, and we were just going to figure that out. We knew that had to be really fluid based on what we found on the ground. That would dictate where some of those scenes would take place, and maybe we couldn't be real strict about it. If something said it happened in a bedroom, it might have to happen in a hallway. If it made more sense for it to happen while walking down the street, then we just rolled with it.
Every rational chord in my body was saying, this is insanity. But then thinking back to the script, looking at the work that the guys had produced in previous films, you realize that this was calculated insanity.
The real difficult part, we were constantly, as actors, we were constantly on. It was a 24-hour role. You turn around and Michael was there with the camera. There wasn't any time really off, and I think that really helped the movie, but I think that was probably the toughest part about doing the movie as well. We were constantly shooting, which I found to be liberating but also challenging, because there was never a time we said, cut, let's go home. We were always on. We were a band of gypsies, and we just kept shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting, and allowing every performance to just grow in front of the camera. You usually can get off a set and kind of decompress and figure this out and figure, okay, this is what I need to do. But being that role all the time, you jumped in head first, and it was a real intimate role to do for such a long time. I mean, 12 days doesn't seem like a long time, but 24 hours of 12 days is a long time.
You get hit just by physical exhaustion at the end of every day. And just the reality of the fact that your bones hurt because you have a backpack. Everybody did. The actors were carrying in their wardrobe multiple different changes just in case we saw something, we had to get a scene, because we didn't know what we were going to run into when we left for the day.
Basically, what's so much fun about these kind of films and what we did was you don't know. Yeah. And if you see a beautiful shot, let's get it.
We were driving through France, and we'd see a lot of these yellow fields, and it was like, why don't we just shoot a scene in there at one point, And so Mike's like, okay, pull over. I had these ballet slippers, and obviously you can't run through thick, soggy fields in ballet slippers. So I had to ask for Mike's shoes, and he threw these big boots at me, and that's what I was wearing in that scene as we were running through it. And it looked really delicate up on top, but below we're just like sloshing and schluffing away.
No one knew that we were filming, basically. At some points, we were just taking little snip shots, but then, and we also didn't want to interrupt people's lives that were being lived where we were. So, because we weren't a big production and there's no need for that. So, yes, it definitely was. It was pretty tricky, but that's what makes it fun too, because I was diving in and out of stuff, and it was fun. There
were times when we would just grab. We knew we needed some of Eve's as a photographer working in Paris, and we have all these great cityscapes everywhere. We didn't really know what we were going to shoot, so whenever we had any what was a little maybe going to be downtime, Mark would put on the suit, grab his camera, we would go out and shoot Eve's photographer stuff, and we were just walking. We're walking really fast. We're trying to shoot everything. We're almost sprinting, and Mark, with completely unprovoked, without warning, spots something before we spot it, which is a dead pigeon on the ground, just lays down in the street and starts shooting it from real close. It was just I don't know if it was a method acting moment or if it was thinking of, oh, this is a great shot, and not realizing that there's traffic coming at him. But he laid there for a long time, probably a good 10 minutes, while Angus and I stood in the street and just blocked traffic. So we have both Mark and Mike both lying in the street. Mark shooting a pigeon with a camera, Mike shooting Mark, and it's the only thing stopping them from being run over by cars is the fact that two people are blocking the cars with their bodies.
I remember one particular moment when we were in the train station. We weren't supposed to even film. We were just walking to our train. And I think Stana felt something, maybe you felt something, and you guys started filming again.
It's a really strange experience because you're used to being, having worked on other movies and commercials and things, you're used to lights, you're used to all this crew, you're used to very much, when you're on a movie set, you feel like you're on a movie set. You don't feel like, it feels like these are actors and they're acting, and it's almost like you're watching a play or something. But this experience was totally different because you start to forget that you're filming something because it's just a couple people with these tiny cameras and no real sound gear visible.
It was such a small crew of people, Essentially, it's the three of us expanded at most at 5. Having that closeness allowed for, I think, close camera angles, allowed for more trust.
So I mean that sort of speaks to the nature of the production and kind of the attitude that we all had going into it, which was we're here with cameras and we're going to shoot whatever we want.
Stana was, very rare in the sense that you get somebody that is as beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside, and we're very lucky to get someone to play that part. She has a tremendous amount of talent that we wanted to utilize. She had sitting down with her, she had this bravery that Mike and I noticed that, it's going to take this type of actress that was going to be able to do the things necessary that the character was going to go through, which is riding a motorcycle, which was a pretty big motorcycle, jumping off a cliff, and at that time we didn't know what size of the cliff was going to be.
Wait, no, are we doing it now? Are we doing it now?
Come on. Yeah, come on. Come on. She's a very daring person.
Yeah.
And we wanted to definitely utilize that.
I can do it. Yeah.
She seemed to take the light that we wanted. She photographed. The way she photographed was essential to the way we were thinking about this movie, and I knew that she had some modeling experience, and I was able to look at some of her past photographs. And when we met her, she had the ability to challenge not only herself, but to challenge what the role was about, to be very adventurous and say, hey boys, let's just go do this. Let's go make this. Not a lot of questions were asked about the material or how we were going to do this, but just when. And that kind of spirit for us is the reason why we make independent movies.
The closer you're together, the closer you are, the better focus it is for me. The closer you are, like, you can
Like
be very,
here,
yeah,
right?
very, on the same plane, and
Okay.
just intimate. It's probably. Did you cut?
How's this tattoo looking on camera?
So,
It's okay?
Yeah. It's
Are you
good.
whitish? What are you? Do you want me on top? Not yet, right?
I'm not gonna suggest it, but
Just come on top.
favor your right side so I can keep her light on her.
There doesn't seem to be a hard scene in this movie in terms of the actors were so prepared. It was I think the challenge was just trying to make it great all the time and not being too tired to say, well, let's go get on a boat, let's get on a motorcycle. Because we were the transportation, we ended up bringing the bike, motorcycle to the set, the cars, the cameras, the suitcases. So it was always trying to be at the end of the fourth quarter saying, this is overtime, we're in overtime now, let's make this great, let's make this day great. And always trying to stack those great days up. Because it was very, very tiring to shoot something and be on the run for 12 days.
I think the energy and the excitement and the surprise of the whole project kind of supersedes anything that was really difficult and rough, you know? I think the toughest thing is it's so fast that you really at some point just have to say, screw it, I'm gonna totally let go and be available and hopefully we're catching something great. I didn't watch any dailies. I didn't know anything that was going on. So I would constantly be asking Mark, I'm like, do we have anything? What do you think of it? Is there anything there? I had no idea. And it didn't matter. I had to trust kind of that the people that were doing what they were doing knew what they were doing, you know?
You can't deny that these two together had great chemistry. I mean, that's just the bottom line. There's no denying their chemistry. And I think people automatically take to that.
The characters, I think, were so realistic. They began that way on the page, but when they were handed over to the actors, it's just a realism. There's a depth and a dimension to the characters in that film that you very, very rarely see in film. It's an absolute treat to watch.
You know, playing Eve was difficult in the sense that you always wanted to say more than he would say. He was more, I think he was damaged in the sense of the first part of the relationship. So he's got this second chance to be with the love of his life.
Sophia's a dreamer. She got stuck probably in a job that she doesn't absolutely love, and it doesn't explore her full potential. And she put herself in a relationship that's kind of the same thing.
I think he wanted to just say everything he could say because he knew the time was limited. I think he was carrying around baggage that Sophia couldn't see, and he knew that at one point that baggage was going to show up, and I think he wanted to be able to unload what he could unload and try to keep her. You like to be that romantic and be that kind of guy or that man that, you know, just loves endlessly and be able to not be judgmental and be in the moment and understand what that kind of love is. See? You have to ask for it.
A rock is good.
Oh yeah, can you say it?
Okay, ready?
Okay.
It's just very, very realistic, you know. It's the love story every one of us would love to live. And everybody loves a good love story. But I think people like it, and actually people, they don't just like it, they really, really like it, because it's a no bullshit film. I mean, this is what life is about.
Every one of us that worked on it, and there were only about 7 of us that worked on this whole movie, put so much love into it that you can't help, as an audience member, help but feel that. You can't help but feel that.
Every single scene was an adventure was breathtaking when I actually saw it, with my own eyes of where we are at. And those moments those are such amazing memories for people that are going through it. And on people on the outside, like I said, it's so inspiring to see that that love is real.
There wasn't any predetermined composition, there wasn't a predetermined subject, it wasn't a predetermined lighting package or predetermined lens. Everything was at the moment. You're living for this moment, and that, while it was exhausting, was probably the best film we've made so far.
We had such a great time making a movie like this that you want to do it again. I mean, sometimes I think, did your luck run out at the same time? And I don't think you could recreate what we did, but I think you could be inspired again by what we did and try to do it again. So would I do it again? Sometimes I think I would.
Yeah, so too, absolutely.
And I would do it again in a second, because I just kind of feel like the story was A, so fun to tell, but B, also there's more to it. These two people are very real in my mind, and their affection for each other.
So you're saying there's a For Lovers Only 2?
Can I say that?
You can.
Sure, yeah, there is a For Lovers Only 2.
I got an announcement to make. Yes. Announcement. Woo! It's a big surprise, but we're wrapping the monopod called Bobo Fett. Another announcement to make. Yes. That's a wrap for Lovers Only.